Okay, so today I'm going to put second brood chambers on these two hives. This one was a wintered colony that I requeened because the queen was getting old and it just wasn't doing very well. And then this one is a nuke that I got for free because it was queenless when I brought it home. So the first round of brood is just starting to emerge out of this hive. This one should have gotten a box last week, but I had to repair these boxes and I was waiting for some little frame rests. These little metal frame rest things. Some of these old boxes, the frames don't sit right, and they hang out the bottom and they sit too low. So then, now they sit right in here. Alright, so I fixed those up. Yeah, there's 9 frames of bees all the way across in here. So I'll take 2 frames of brood, probably these two, and pull them up into the second brood chamber to help draw the bees up. Okay, so as you can see, there's some hatching bees. They're just hatching out. This hive is really exploding in population. There's good nectar and pollen. They're nice and well fed. There's some fresh young larvae in there. Everything looks really good with this hive. I also treated them with oxalic dribble before the first round of brood was capped, so that would have pretty much zeroed out the mite count. So that's a good thing. If I spot the queen, I'll show her, but I usually don't really bother looking for the queen. As long as you see eggs and brood, and the bees are nice and calm, they're all running around. There's a queen in here somewhere. So there's the little bee dance there. That's telling the other bees where to go to find either pollen or honey or whatever resource. That's always neat to see. Second blossom alfalfa is like it's just starting to flower again. They cut it about 4 or 5 weeks ago, something like that. That's always neat to see. Here's another frame. Bunch of emerging bees here. Bunch of baby bees walking around, and see there's one chewing through the cell. This hive's really exploding in population. They're going to grow really nicely into this double. Okay, so I brought those 2 frames up into here. That'll help draw the bees up into the second box, and the queen will almost immediately start laying up here. And then there's 2 empty frames down here now, so that gives the bees plenty of room to work. Lots of room for the queen to lay. So, they look good. Alright, so now they're a double. I'll check on them in about 2 weeks, see how they're doing. I don't think that these ones are going to make any honey this year. If I'm really lucky, they might, but they probably won't. They'll make good hives for winter, and then next year they'll make a good honey crop. Okay, now I just do the same thing with this hive. It's actually run out of room. They're building burr comb on the lid. It's also bees all the way across. This one and this one were both wintered hives, but the queens were just getting old and they really didn't look all that great. So I made some queens from this hive. This one was my only good hive coming out of winter. I grafted some queens off this one to replace the queens in these 2, and I also made up 2 other queens from it. So yeah, they're in good shape now. If I see the queen on here, I'll show her. Beautiful brood pattern. This is what good queens can do. When that hatches out, that's going to turn into, well, usually a frame of brood will turn into 2, maybe 3 frames of bees. This one's pretty full. I'm going to say that's going to turn into probably 3 frames of bees. And it's just getting ready to hatch. That's really nice. That's a great pattern. It's pretty cool too, because that's one of my own queens. Here's a frame that already is hatching out. There's a bunch of young bees walking around on the frame here. And the queen's already laid eggs in these empty cells again. Don't know how well it'll pick it up on here. There's lots of fresh pollen, nectar. This looks great. Wow, yeah, that's a great pattern. Really healthy hives here. Alright, yeah, these hives have really good nutrition right now. That's a frame of mainly pollen. It's really good. I'll see if I can find the queen here quickly. Alright, there's one of my own queens. She looks great and she's doing a good job here. Just walking around laying up a storm. That's good. Okay, so now I'll check them in about 2 weeks and see how they're doing. This hive got a second box last week. They're building into it pretty nicely. This one has a slightly lower population, but the brood on these two are going to start hatching out, well, right now, and then over the next week they'll really start growing. So, yeah, they look good. They'll make some good hives going into winter. Other than that, my hives are all supered up. I'm probably going to pull honey in about 2 weeks. They look pretty good. I can smell nectar in the air. So, yeah, they're doing good. These two are just weaker, but they're still kicking along. They should make a box of honey. And then when I first pull honey, I'll probably put, well, at least 2 back on each hive, like at least 2 honey boxes back on each. I think a lot of these will get 3 back. And then hopefully we get some good honey flow going into August and just see how things go. Yeah, they look good. These nukes here all got second brood chambers. They were made a little bit on the small side, so I boosted them each with 2 extra frames of brood and bees. And now they're growing into seconds quite nicely. And then I had 2 extra queens that I made, so I put them into singles and gave them an extra frame of brood and bees. Let's see here. They're building up into there quite nicely. These ones all winter in just 1 box. It's getting a bit late now to be like putting them into doubles. I'd have to boost them up quite a bit with a lot more brood, so they'll winter well in a little single here. They should build up nicely. Yeah, so overall they look good. Right, I guess that's it for this one. Okay, here's one of the nukes that I made up a few weeks ago. All 4 of them look pretty much like this. I boosted them up with 2 extra frames of brood and bees and put second brood chambers on. These ones will winter in 2 boxes, and then next year they'll make a honey crop, and I can probably make new hives from them too. But they look good. They have Saskatraz queens in them. Right, I guess that's it for this one. I just wanted to show these quickly. But okay, that's it.